The most successful people on earth, when they found something that brings them money, they double down. Why on earth, when we have something that is so successful, would we look to something else that is not of interest to us, but we think we can monetize it? One of the biggest mistakes we see in our profession is people think they can monetize something and they absolutely shouldn't. And their main cash flow, their cash cow dies. And that is why I have the master closer, the disruptor, the CEO of Close for Chiro, Dr. Dan. Dan, welcome to the Chiropractor's Edge.
Good morning, Jake. What's going on, everyone, at the Chiropractor's Edge? It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you this morning.
Dan, so happy to have you on board. You know, you're a dear friend. We had you on our other podcast, Abundant Mind, for some of the world's wealthiest, most affluential people in the world, and you are toe to toe, neck to neck, above, and right at where I want all entrepreneurs to be and chiropractors to be. I love what you stand for. I love that you are so authentic to who you are. I love your humor, but it always goes down to those basics. I've attended a few master classes myself personally, my associates personally. We have a few new docs joining us. They're going to be joining you guys. And every time I join, it's so wonderful to see and to hear there isn't something brand new that's in this sales world. Oh, guys, guess what we just learned about sales? Guess what we just learned? You guys roll with the punches with technology. You're getting your name out there on so many platforms. But I love that you always go down to basics because these are the things that sell. Yes. Why is it that chiropractors are floundering today in the sense that they have $1 million practices, but they're not growing, they're not scaling? What is their number one problem that you see at C4C?
So classically, I'm a common denominator person. So I always look to see what is the single simplest fundamental reason something is not happening or something is failing or something has a problem. And then I'm going to quote what's called Akrams Razor, which means that the most obvious reason for a specific situation is usually the correct one. I'm also going to draw another analogy here in the world of statistics and odds. Now, I'm not very good at the actual arithmetic of math, believe it or not, but I am very in tune with statistics and odds, you know? And so when I put those two together and I am posed a question such as yours, Jake, it makes me go to one fundamental reason why not just chiropractors, but any business owner or any athlete or whoever's working in the world of odds and statistics and fundamentals, why they struggle and ultimately sometimes fail. And that is not doubling down, and those are your words, on the fundamental thing that drives a business, and that is what makes you revenue. And there's so many distractions, Jake, so many distractions away from that. It's amazing. I mean, we're in business, right? Our job is to feed our business with revenue. By the way, nothing wrong with that. That's what we should do. Yeah. Revenue is the life force of our business, right? Just like the nervous system is the life force of our bodies. Like, we understand that philosophically on a chiropractic and a human level. For some reason, we can't adopt that simple philosophy, that simple fundamental truth into our business. So if you think about it that way, so let's see, what is the number one fundamental reason, fundamental thing that we can do for our businesses to thrive? And that is, watch this, Jake, and I love you because you're so unapologetic about this, and so am I. We need to make more money for our businesses because that's where it comes down to. The more revenue we have, that puts our values to work, right? We hire more people, we serve more, we see more, we have better impact. And many of the chiropractors that are listening to this right now, I know if we put $1 million right in front of you right now, very few of you will blow that in Vegas. Many of you will find a way to reinvest that into your businesses to have a bigger impact. So having more revenue, what is so wrong with that? So coming back down to the common denominator, where is the money? Yes. It's how can we start each new patient so that they yield? Number one, they follow your best recommendations, and then you are paid what you deserve. Sorry, folks, I don't care what anyone else says. That is the fundamental, bare bones, common denominator thing that will drive your practice to whatever level that you ultimately want it to be.
You hit it. I mean, just straight on the nail. We see so many docs who they have a bag of tools. They have so many things, and they have so many incredible. And there's moments where it's almost like trick plays, in a game where, hey, you can use this trick play here or there, but trick plays don't win games. Trick plays do not, make your practice thrive. You have to go to to those core fundamentals of sales, being able to communicate, being able to build rapport. I've always thought, hey man, I'm good at connecting with people authentically. I'm good at, being honest with people if I find something, in common ground. But man, I did not understand the holes in my system until I understood it from you guys on how to build rapport with people, sincere rapport. And I realized I was murdering and drowning my patients before, because I was over from a true authentic point of view. I wasn't being BSing.
Right.
I was drowning them in kindness, drowning them in praise. When you guys, you're like, so you can build rapport in about 6 seconds. I was like, BS. You can,
right.
Oh my gosh, you can. You can be authentic and build rapport by not downing their professions, not downing what they do, being able to find common denominators of common ground and being able to put those in a light. People love talking about themselves. They love talking about their families, and you guys teach that so beautifully. You teach that so perfectly in the profession. Why is it that is so hard to comprehend? Why is building rapport? You would think it's easy, but why do they have my old mindset with that? Why does that happen?
Well, that's an expectation, right? So when you hear the word, like everyone listening right now, you just heard Jake say, build rapport. Immediately when that word comes out, you already have a preconceived idea about what that is. So number one, we have to define it like properly. And the normal preconceived prejudiced idea of what rapport building means to most people is, how likable am I? That is the go-to definition of rapport, and that is incorrect. Okay, yes. That is not what rapport is. Rapport does not mean what can I do to make myself look better? What can I do to make myself more likable? What can I do to make myself more desirable? Like, that is not rapport. Okay, that's actually nothing of the sort. What rapport actually is a connection from them to you, not so much you to them. See, when someone comes in from the chiropractor's perspective, the patient I already feel rapport for them. Why? Let's see. They actually picked up the phone or picked up the computer and scheduled an appointment with me. Like, it wasn't a general, like, I need a chiropractor and I just happened to be there. They chose me.
Right.
They made an appointment a week or two out, depending on your volume. They woke up that morning and got everything ready for the day, got the kids dressed, get out of the house. The husband or wife is doing their own thing. And they reserved the time to meet with me. They got in their cars. They GPS'd my address. They drove, sometimes half an hour, sometimes more, whatever. They came into your office. They sat down in your facility. They were handed forms to fill out. They've invested so much time and effort to see me. So I like them in terms of, or I've connected with them already. So
yes.
It's already a given. That's already in play. That is already money on the table. That's yours. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, now what's left is that now the responsibility for me is, okay, since I have rapport with them, okay, from my perspective, now what's left is they need to build rapport with me. They need to connect with me. So if you go into that knowing that, then there's nothing to prove anymore, docs. Rapport is not proving yourself to your patients. Your rapport is not, having them come in and be like, oh, I'm the effing best, and I have all these degrees, and I know Jake Hansen in Colorado, and I know this person, and I have, that's not going to work here. So when we talk about rapport building, it comes from a fundamental common denominator reason for why we do what we do. And if you come from that perspective, it all changes. Now it's different now, right, Jake? If you think about it that way, now it's like, okay, what can I ask them? What can I set up so that they share with me, so that they feel like I've invested all that time without actually having to do it? One more thing
that principle you just taught is so critical. I've listened to a few podcasts from billionaires lately, multimillionaires lately, and they all taught that same principle from their life lessons. When we come across as, like the worst thing on planet Earth is when someone's doing they're at a conference, and instead of blowing you right out of the water like you guys do in master class, I mean, you guys bring the heat. You even brought a freaking mariachi band last time we were there. That was awesome, by the way. That was awesome.
Thanks.
But they're like, is my mic on? Can everyone hear me? Hang on. Is my lighting okay? Because they're worried about themselves. It's a scarcity freaking mindset. It's a lack of mindset. It is a lack of confidence mindset. When you understand that, what they've actually taken to actually get to see you, and that's when you can understand that, wow, this is about them, and then being authentic and building true rapport happens so effortlessly.
Totally.
It's powerful. So what I would love people to understand your background. A lot of docs, they see people like you. They see you rubbing shoulders with some of the most affluential people in the world. They see that people are that the most affluential people are looking to you for answers and for skill sets that they don't yet have. What do you say to the doc who is at a level of super success? They're doing incredibly well, but they're stagnant and they want more. They want to scale. They want to open up another practice, bring on more team members. What do you still share with those doctors of getting them to that level?
Again, back to the fundamentals.
Going back.
Yeah, Jake, it's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not shiny. It's not pretty. But the fundamentals are the fundamentals of the fundamentals. And, the best analogy I can give you is we've all played maybe some type of competitive sports growing up, right? I don't care what it is. It could be bowling to freaking chess. I don't care what it is, okay? Is chess a sport? Not sure, whatever. But my point being is that anybody who does anything on a professional level, if you ask them and they truly are one of the top performers in their field or their sport, one of the things that you will always hear from them on interviews when you really get down to it is that, I just pound the fundamentals. I mean, if you're a golfer, it's like the grip, the stance. I mean,
yes.
These are things that are so boring and so like, I don't want to do it. But that's just how it is. If you have skin in the game on any game, and you mentioned this before, you talked about like the quirky and exciting ways to do things. And the term I have for it is called FMS. It's called fancy move syndrome. And we all suffer from that because it's exciting, it's new, it's not mundane, it's not boring. But for anyone who wants to scale, and if you watch any of the high performers, and Jake, you do this on a consistent basis, and you probably see a common theme among them, which is why you do this. And that is that the high performers, the people who have scaled, who figured this out, are pounding the fundamentals. And what are those fundamentals? Number one is sales. You got to know how to do it. It is an actual thing. It's not esoteric. It's not luck. It's not something that you're born with. Trust me, because I was not. And you pound that fundamental. And then it's crazy. All the other things start to fall in place.
Yes.
The FMS, the fancy move syndrome, is a distraction. Okay. It's the antithesis of the fundamentals. Okay. So it would be like the basketball player who doesn't really work on dribbling. Do you know the NBA, okay, anyone in the NBA or leading up to the Division I basketball, heck, Division III basketball college, they work on dribbling every effing day. Dribbling. Every day. And they also work on free throws every single day. Now you take a guy who doesn't work on those fundamentals and now he wants to do a fancy dunk, 360 under the leg. Do you understand? That guy is not going very far.
No.
He's not scaling. He's not growing because he's just so involved in the FMS and he's all about the fancy moves. You know what I'm saying? And in chiropractic, it's rampant. It's so rampant.
Yes. I asked that question in a C4C somewhat of a style because I knew what you would say. I knew you would say it's fundamentals. Why do we keep teaching these principles of fundamentals? Because this is what the most successful people do that grow and scale and that don't get burned out. That don't say, man, I'm exhausted. Why would you get burned out seeing absolute miracles and seeing the most incredible transformations in your practice, and your bank account is only growing. I mean, we're so blessed right now in our life where we're pitched with opportunities to invest almost daily, if not several times a week. And we can jump in on those things that tuned into our core values, but it comes down to that sales process. So we've talked about rapport. We've talked about that sales process. If you look at the most successful leaders in our profession that are in C4C, what are the things that they do consistently that bring them success? What are the things that they live, that they teach, that they do that make them super successful? What do they do? What are the core traits?
That is a fantastic question. Jake, by the way, you're an awesome interviewer, because one of the things that I've learned, not just in myself, but looking at the people that we have served over the years, and we've been doing this for over 10 years, man. I mean, I can't believe it. We've been doing it for this long, and especially in an industry, chiropractic, where there's so many come and goers. There's so many starters and no finishers. Big things are popping up all the time. The new shiny marketing, and then a year later they're gone, because I watch all of them. The people who have the longevity even in their practices, and especially you too, Jake, one of the fundamental characteristics I see, okay, and this is a sales fundamental, okay, is perspective. How quickly and effectively can you get in the perspective of the people that you're serving? That's it. So for example, Jake, you come on here on our pre-call, and the first things you do is you tell me things about what we are doing at C4C immediately. I love what you're doing this. I love how you do that. And this is great. And you're telling me that from my perspective, from your authentic self, instead of taking that precious time, okay, to tell me how great the Chiropractor's Edge is doing. Because I know you're doing great. I don't need to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So you spend that time doing that. If you look at any of the people who have scaled and have grown, and any of the multi-million-dollar operations and the people that you have interviewed, if you get down to it, they will say the same thing. I get into the perspective of those that I'm serving quickly and efficiently, and I'm a distant fourth place in that. Okay, what does that mean for your practice? Your communities, your patients have a perspective. Many of you that are listening to this maybe not have even considered, what is the perspective of my community? What is the perspective of the people that I'm writing an ad for? What is the perspective of the person that I'm selling to right now? What is the perspective of my front desk CA that seems to be kind of wavering and not showing up on time? What is the perspective of, the office dog? These are the things that the greatest successful people I've seen across all industries, because I study all of them, they do this so well. And many of them were never born with this. Many of them had to learn it like a skill set. Mm-hmm. The best athletes, okay, that are like head to head, let's say a wrestler, like a Roman Greco, Olympic wrestler, Olympic fencer, whatever, anyone who's head to head with somebody, the best athletes in those situations, like MMA fighters, right? If you really listen to what they're saying in interviews, they will always say, and they don't want to give away their secrets, so it's a little bit, you have to look between the lines, is, I know my opponent, Buster Brown, does this. I know my opponent, Buster Brown, has a tendency to do this. And so they adopt their moves and their perspective based on their perspective to get them to the ultimate, solution or the ultimate goal. So to answer your question in a kind of a long-winded way, the best people who've grown quickly, easily, with the least amount of stress, spend an enormous amount of uncomfortable time thinking about the perspective of others.
I actually feel a little of emotion right now. What you just shared, to see you, because I know you pretty dang well, Dan, to see your level of success in life, to see that you can have anything you want. You could retire now if you wanted and go live the boat yacht lifestyle. To see you go back and say that it has to be about them. It has to be about our perspective. We have to get into the perspective of our clients, of our ideal clients. That's critical. Because so many docs get to a level of, hey, I was on the Today Show, I was on this, I was on that.
Right.
It's like they already trust you, and most people don't care. Oh, I heard that you can change my kid's life. He's got autism. We had a lady just recently come into our practice who it was amazing. She said, there's this group in town, and you guys are always popping up. But I thought, my kid can't come in, and we have a patient concierge that brings in patients to our practice. Brought this lady in, and she goes, my son's been legally blind since birth, severely, has super high on the autism spectrum, and we explained what chiropractic is, but we hit it from her perspective and the perspective of her son. She goes, "You're the first person who's ever talked to my son. You're the first doctor who's ever really talked to him. No one talks to him. They always just talk to me and almost belittle him." She goes, "He was engaged. He was feeling the spine." He's like, "What are these things?" I'm like, "Oh, those are nerves. What are these things?" She goes, "That was incredible." So we do what we do. We do what we do. Sign up for their plan, paid in cash, ready to go.
No
She
brainer.
comes in the end of the week and go, "He slept for 5 days straight." 2 days later, he slept for 7 days straight. He hasn't slept in 90 days. And so because of that perspective, 3 more people are coming in just like that. That's what you guys teach, though. You teach how to get into their mind and make it about them. And it doesn't take 4.5 hours on average. And I know, but how long does it take you to do a thorough and a wonderful history and going through that sales process? It takes about 45 minutes, right? It takes about 90 minutes, right?
No.
What does it take?
Like 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Successful, uber successful. And you're getting answers. You're doing what you do, doc. And is it technique dependent? Can if you're a Gonstead, upper cervical, high O, diversified, Gondroid, I mean, it's not technique. It's not technique specific, is it?
Never. It's not. And it's so fundamental, the fundamental that it supersedes all techniques and personalities and office types and PI or insurance or cash. And it's such a wonderful, that's how you have something, because it can be used effectively across all platforms, all differences, all different types of people. And and I learned that more recently. I didn't know it was so pervasive, and omnipotent across all. I didn't know it was until I started doing this. I mean, we got docs who are practicing literally out of a bus in the woods in the poorest county of Tennessee that are crushing it. We have docs that are in Midtown Manhattan in $4 million, office condos, busting this out. We have docs that are in Jerusalem doing activator only, and they're busting this out. And it's like, at a certain point, I get skeptical too. I was like, how could this work for everyone? And sometimes, like some of you, even in chiropractic, you don't really know the power of what you have, because when you do have it, until it gets to a point where the evidence is so overwhelming and you realize, holy cow, like this can absolutely change my world. And that's exactly how we feel at C4C. Like we know that what we have to provide for the industry and the profession can absolutely revolutionize the profession. And I think it's about time.
I love that, being more interested in the person in front of you instead of interesting is that common denominator that we always go back to. Sean and I, we did a podcast a while ago, and I was looking at, everything you guys have accomplished and designed and developed over the last 10 years. And I had asked, I said, how much money do you really believe has been made from C4C? Obviously, you can look at the lives transformed, but we do need to talk about the money. We have to. I mean, it's in the hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, easy.
If not close to over $1 billion. And to see that it's not a fancy trick. It's not a fancy, it is a skill set. It is a skill set you have to own, but it is not freaking rocket science, because you've spent millions of dollars yourself studying sales. I love the principle you taught. And it's hilarious. You show this, show this video of this, sweet little girl who's deaf, and and these 2 ladies are teaching, they're learning sign language on the go and wherever they're at, and you're looking at this and you're getting welled up, like, oh, these people are learning sign language, and they go in and it's these 2 ladies are like, "Hi, we're your new mothers," and I apologize, I don't speak sign language, and the little girl's like, "Oh, hi, welcome," and it's a drug commercial. And I love that you say, and regardless of political or whatever people say, you go, you guys, the drug companies even have lesbian mothers doing this better than chiropractors do.
Exactly.
And what power do we hold over a drug?
Exactly.
But you went over the sales process. It's sales. It's hitting what matters most to people.
And it's funny you bring that up because I was embarrassed about this for a while. Is that I was learning sales, marketing, these fundamentals that we teach, not from within the profession because it was not available. It was not being taught. It's still not being taught. My goodness. And by the way, you brought up Sean Dill. Like he's the only other chiro that I can think of right now that actually teaches the fundamentals of business and sales.
Huge.
Huge, yeah. And it's very few people that are doing it. But nevertheless, that I was embarrassed to admit that I was learning a lot of these business fundamentals and sales from outside the chiropractic profession, and more importantly, from our antithesis, our nemesis, modern medicine. Because as much as we don't agree with why and how they do things, one of the things you cannot ever deny is they know what they're doing in terms of sales.
Yes, they do.
They do. And you have to respect that, because I do. That's why I bring up those particular instances of how, look at what they've done. And if you really dissect it, what they've done is they've penetrated the perspective of their marketplace so effectively, so succinctly and efficiently. And when you see them do that, you can't help but to be enamored by it. Like, they're so good at that. And then on top of that, at the very next point, I get incredibly angry and irritated. And I just want to throw things, because I look at my own profession. I'm like, how did we miss this? Like, why were we not taught this? Especially when we're responsible for selling the greatest healthcare product in the world, that we can literally change, the course of humanity with what we're doing in chiropractic. How did we miss that lesson?
Yes.
And it's just, and I get mad, and then I come full circle, and then I come from abundance and love again. And I do that process weekly, maybe even daily. I'm not even sure.
I think of you guys like a diplomat, like a postgraduate thing that is an absolute must, because we learn incredible things in school. We learn how to be chiropractors, hopefully. Mm-hmm. If we haven't, we need to go back and our continuing education and hone the art and science and philosophy of chiropractic and go back to the fundamentals of chiropractic. But you can have everything down in your office, but if you cannot share that from a point of authority, certainty, passion, and authenticity, it doesn't. You're not gonna. Your bottom line is not going to change. We were doing pretty well before I met you guys. As far as, I would say we were doing great, but I knew we were missing something. I said, our closing rates are decent. This is decent. I feel like we can communicate chiropractic, but why are we still stuck here? And I was doing payment plans. I was doing a lot of scattered things because I thought, this makes sense. So-and-so does this and so-and-so does that. That makes sense. We had a $42,000 bump the first month after C4C, because we were able to authentically share what we do in a better way.
Wow.
And, the whole, that one of the principles of shut the heck up, of just sitting there and shutting up. When I would show, I would show everything we're giving them, everything that they're going to have, and then literally just shutting up when they're like, well, it just makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to pay today. We'll pay in full. And then, so my wife needs to jump in too. Is there an option for her and I to be on a plan together?
Mm-hmm. All day long.
And literally just being like, okay, this works.
Yeah.
This is a true standpoint of true love, authenticity, nothing fishy, nothing smelly, nothing dishonest, a true place of authenticity. And that's what you guys teach.
So distilled, so simple, and it's amazing it works. It's crazy. But also, just to be fair, I keep things real. Like you said, Jake, it is a definite skill set. However, the challenge that I find with even my current students is they just don't trust the process. And that's why, Jake, you were such a great student, because you came in and it's a choice, right? You came in and said, okay, all right, I'm doing pretty good, but I'm just going to have to trust this process. I might not understand why everything works the way it does, but these guys have enough of a track record. And if I'm here, I'm telling these guys, I trust them, teach me, and I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to do, even if I don't completely understand the why. And that is the secret sauce in this relationship here. So anyone who's listening, and if you ever want to train with us, one of the things that's required is you have to trust us, just like you want your patients to come in and unequivocally trust you that you know what you're doing. And so we just try to keep it real across the board.
You helped me unlearn a lot of strategies that were helpful, but you helped me unlearn a lot of trick plays.
Yeah.
things that you're like, hey, so why are you doing this every day? I remember you, Sean, and Jen. And I was in the last master class before COVID hit. Like COVID
Yeah.
hit like a month after.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
And COVID were my best year. I mean, every year we've been blessed to be better and better and better and grow, and finances have grown significantly. But we were the last one, and I attribute a large part of that success to you guys. But I remember, Sean, you guys did some awards at the end of the master class, and I remember Sean being like, you guys were like, all right, Jake, you've asked the most freaking questions out of anyone we've ever had. Because I thought, well, I've been taught this way. Hey, so you guys don't do it this way? I was taught this. Okay, wait, I was taught this. I was taught, you're like, so clarifying. And you guys, instead of, I mean, you didn't bat me down. You sold me. You sold me from a good perspective, but you said, listen, like, this is how it's done. Here's why. Here's the proof. Here's why it's done. Here's the proof. Trust the process. Trust the system. You know, the fastest way to get to any destination is to ask someone who's already there for directions. Mm-hmm. And that is why you guys are the leading authorities when it comes to sales. And, you know, in our group, the Chiropractors Edge, you know, we have some incredible, we consider ourselves a phenomenal triage service. You know, there's a lot of docs that I can help. A lot of docs that I know for a fact that you're going to be better at, because you're one of my, you're a dang good friend. You and I could shoot the breeze and talk chiropractic and talk almost anything, but you're one of my mentors and one of my coaches. And that is why we refer to you guys in C4C, because this is a skill set that is a must. This mindset of this process, and to hone this down. And you guys are boots on the ground. It is not I mean, you're giving homework. I remember that first night, my associate and I were up for like 3 or 4 hours studying the principles, studying what you taught, because we got quizzed the next day.
Exactly.
You know, and it wasn't just I mean, there was feet to the fire, and you're looking around, you're not with a bunch of schmucks.
Nope.
There were super freaking successful doctors who've been doing this for 10 years, who have multi-million-dollar practices, who are still going back to these basics. So we're going to put your information for Close for Chiro below. You guys do, would you mind just sharing again what masterclass is, what the actual physical process looks like? And then we offer it, how many times a year are we doing that right now? It's very limited.
It's very limited, because like you said, the way in which we teach is just as impressive as what we teach, and we try to maintain that. Yeah, we can have 300 people in a room at, you know, a given time, but there's no way that we're going to touch every one of those souls. So right now we're limited to like 40 to 50 docs per session maximum. That's about what we can handle right now. And yeah, we're looking to learn and grow and scale, but not right now. We're doing that about 4 or 5 times a year. Okay. And it is an event. It is a 2-day live event. And we pick very, very nice locales. Like, I remember back in the day, Jake, being stuck in the back of a Holiday Inn like a sardine. Oh my God, near airports and, you know, hourly motels. It's like, come on, give me a break. No, we pick incredibly, what some of my wife would call bougie, facilities and venues. On top of that, it is also online as well. So we know people learn differently. So we're desperate to make sure that we hit your learning style. So we don't know exactly which one it is. So we just do everything. It's online. It's written in a beautifully formatted manual. You can get it online on demand. There's a 2-day event. So you get everything no matter how you learn. So whenever you're watching this, I don't know where we are, but we're probably selling some next event. Next one right now is going to be in Chicago, and we're probably in Chicago for when we can with the weather, and then we're in Arizona for when it's really cold.
Awesome. So to the doc out there again who's just starting, you need this right now. This is an absolute must. To the doc who's successful, who has that $1 million, $2 million, $5 million practice, this is what will allow your teams to get to that next level. The most common thing that I hear from associates that are successful, but they want to learn and grow and join our practice is, hey doc, I want to join you, but can I do my thing? And this is typically, you know, in a seminar setting. Oh, I've heard great things about you. Can I join and do my own thing? Well, until you're collecting $1 million, until you're collecting these other things, like, so you're not even collecting 6 figures. Like, no, you need to do what we do.
Exactly.
And you do what we do, and you continually do what we do. And, you know, you can put your spin on it. You can put your humor on it. Like, I love that you post your stuff for C4C, your practice members see that. Because a lot of docs are like, oh, I can't let my team see that I'm learning to sell. And I love that you're practicing. So, hell, doc, that was a great video about sales last night. That was a great video. That was great humor, because you are who you are. And that is one of the things that I believe attributes you guys to success. So for everyone, follow Dr. Dan. We're going to have his information here. Close for Chiro. And when they say that they're sold out, again, just like these other people that we're with, in the Chiropractor's Edge, we only partner and with the people who are the most successful, people that I've had to vet. There's several other people who are never going to be on this show, who are never going to be in our group, because it's fluff, it's garbage, or it was dishonest or not integral to chiropractic or helping my bottom line, which was helping my patients. And that is why I'm a member of C4C. That is why we follow them. So follow them. Masterclass, when they say they're sold out, they are sold out. You do not want to wait, because we know when the next COVID 3784 is going to pop up. But learning these principles now will overcome any objection that the world or the government can throw at us. So Dan,
well said.
Thank you for being with us, brother. Can't wait to have you on again. Best luck changing lives at the next masterclass. Can't wait to see C4C grow even more.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake. And high five to everyone in the Chiropractor's Edge. I love this place, man. It's the triage. I love it. I understand the concept and I see your vision. So great job to you, Jake.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.